Now, Musk is justifying all this censorship by suggesting that the suspended journalists were somehow implicated in a breach of private data. My plane, he said, is actually not trackable without using non-public data. Here's the thing, though. It is trackable using only publicly available data. We know that because we found the location of his jet today using this highly sophisticated and terribly exclusive journalistic tool called the Google search bar. And that information is still online and trackable, regardless of Musk's account suspension spree. What actually appears to be happening here is this. Elon Musk is picking a fight with journalists who are doing their jobs, covering the whims of one of the richest men in the world, who also happens to own one of the most influential social media platforms around. And as that platform becomes increasingly more dangerous to use, that coverage becomes more imperative. Joining us now is another journalist who has been suspended today by Elon Musk, Lynette Lopez, a Business Insider columnist who focuses on U.S. politics, economics, and controversial companies like Tesla. Lynette, thank you for being here today. I should offer you my condolences for being suspended from Twitter, but somehow I think it must be freeing in a certain way as well.
It is, I don't have to worry about when I'm going to be suspended because it's already done now. And I don't have to worry about what's on Twitter because it doesn't involve me.
Let's just be clear. You were not suspended for linking to this Elon jet account, which I think is worth exploring. There seems to be a wave of suspensions happening courtesy of Elon Musk that also have nothing to do with the assassination coordinates of his private jet. What do you think is going on?
I posted legal documents that are years and years and years old. I've been covering Elon since 2018. I started investigating in 2018, and I stopped deeply investigating his activity at Tesla in 2021. These documents are related to a lawsuit that started in 2019 when Elon sued my source. These documents point to Elon stalking my source, hacking my source, and also doxing a prominent critic at the time. So the reason why I feel I was suspended is because Elon didn't want people to see him as a hypocrite. That said, I don't know for sure because Twitter hasn't said anything to me. They haven't reached out to me.
Have you tried to figure out exactly why you're suspended?
No, I haven't reached out. And I've been covering Elon since 2018. Yeah. So I feel like I have a good idea of who he is. He has harassed me before and come after me on Twitter, accusing me of taking bribes to bribe my sources, which was a complete and total fantasy. So regardless of what he found offensive in those documents, I know that the general feeling is that he did not want to be seen as the kind of person who does what he is decrying, which is basically what they were accusing him of in those Twitter spaces and what he kind of fell into.
Have you been given any indication that the suspension will be lifted?
No.
I'm really shocked. I think for some people that really closely associated him with space exploration and Tesla, this new chapter in his biography is shocking. The heavy hand with which he has approached Twitter, his mass layoffs, the working conditions there, the attitude he's taken towards the media, and also increasingly this this entertainment of a sort of paranoid QAnon-ish worldview that has excited, the far right and supporters of former President Trump. He's re-platformed, I believe this today, Mike Lindell, the My Pillow CEO, Jim Hoff, the editor of the right-wing conspiracy site, The Gateway Pundit, Tracy Diaz, a major QAnon influencer.
Trump is welcome to go back. He just hasn't because he's too proud. So remember, like me, Drew Harwell, from all these journalists are banned. Trump can walk in anytime he wants to, and he led an insurrection. So let's think about what's really going on here.
What is really going on? What does this reflect?
What I was trying to say is that Elon has always been like this. He was always doxing people. He was always silencing his critics. I tweeted out a whole thread of how horrible he was to his employees, even at Tesla. He made people work in the factory during COVID. He is a union buster. I mean, all of these things that we're seeing at Twitter, he did at Tesla, but he has been able to keep quieter because there's something about Elon and the complicated things that he does that makes people feel like he's inaccessible. And whenever he talks about his brain, he says, my neural networks. You know, he's like, he tries to complicate his own speech so that people don't understand the simplicity of what he's actually saying.
Yeah.
And so what I was simply trying to point out is that Elon is guilty of all of the things that he is angry at the liberal media for doing. And he's never been any different from that. We're just all seeing it.
Do you think, but he's also a businessman.
Yeah.
And one would assume that this kind of behavior, this kind of these punitive actions that are getting covered in the national media, I mean, you can't, maybe he can suspend all of us. Perhaps he will try, but this is not good for the bottom line.
It flies in the face of Twitter's business model. You need content creators, and journalists are the biggest content creators. We're addicts. But he doesn't really care, I think, at this point, or maybe he doesn't understand the business model. I don't know. But what the reality is, he needs to find $1.3 billion in cash every year to keep Twitter alive. If he's going to do that, he's going to have to sell Tesla shares. That's his most liquid asset. So until he figures out a way to get a revenue out of Twitter, he is putting his entire empire in danger. For what? I have the same question, but after years and years of reporting on this guy, all I can say is that his ego is extremely important to him. And he believes all of the conspiracy theories that he kind of puts out into the ether. He genuinely believes people are out to get him, even when they're not. He genuinely believes, like the whole assassination threat, he might actually believe that. I can't imagine why anyone would want to kill Elon Musk, but that's what he thinks. That's his world. Unfortunately, this is not the best person to be running Twitter. Twitter's problems are not computer science problems. They are social problems.
They certainly are.
This is not a social guy.
That is the understatement of the year. Lizette Lopez, Business Insider columnist and combatant with Elon Musk. Thanks for your time tonight, Lizette.
Thank you.